Hi everyone, it's Emily, your doula here at June, and today we're going to be walking through how to bathe your baby. We're going to focus today on sponge baths because that is how you are going to be cleaning your babies in the first few weeks of their lives until the umbilical cord stump has fallen off and until that belly button site is nice and healed and dried out. So we're going to hold off on submerged baths for now and focus on the sponge baths. For the first few months of babies' lives, they're really not doing a whole lot to get dirty, and so you can keep baths pretty sporadic. I generally suggest starting with 1 or 2 baths a week and then incorporating them more frequently as you settle into a routine and as you figure out if your baby enjoys them or not. You can also just kind of wipe down baby's face, their neck folds, their hair if you need to, on a daily basis or more frequently if they seem like they need a quick wipe down, rather than doing a full bath every time. I love bathing babies in the kitchen in the early days for a variety of reasons. I think having a nice bit of counter space next to a sink is really, really helpful. I also think that having baby up a little bit higher means that it's more comfortable for you, particularly after you've just given birth and you're healing and recovering. You don't necessarily want or need to be bending over or kneeling down by the tub. So the kitchen's a great place to get started. Water temperature when you're bathing your baby should be nice and warm and comfortable. A lot of parents err on the side of cooler water, and that's one of the reasons that babies really don't enjoy the bath. You want to make sure it's comfortably warm for you and for baby. A good rule of thumb is to test the water with your wrist and make sure that it feels nice and warm and comfortable for you. If it's comfortable for you, it's going to be comfortable for baby. Obviously, we don't want to go too hot, but nice and comfy warm is great. So one thing to know about babies is that they really don't like to be cold. That's generally one of the reasons that they don't enjoy baths in the early days, because they feel cold and exposed to the air. So everything we're going to be doing today is going to be designed to keep them warm and cozy throughout the process. One thing that you can do is to warm the room up a few degrees before you get started to make sure that it's going to be more comfy for baby. So when you're ready to get started with a bath, you want to make sure that you take a few minutes to gather all of your supplies and set up your area before you get going, before you bring baby over and get them dressed. You want everything close at hand. So we're going to go over the things that you need to gather to get your space ready. So I am all set here for our bath. I have my space all ready to go. I have my big towel down on the counter folded as a nice soft space to lay baby on. On top of that, I have baby's hooded towel right here. And on top of the hooded towel, I have my muslin swaddle blanket ready to lay baby on top of and swaddle up. I've got my clean diaper supplies here and clean clothes ready to go. I have my baby soap. I have 2 bowls of water that I've filled comfortably warm to the touch. One with just plain rinse water and one with just a drop of soap in it in the water. And I've got my washcloth. I'm also right next to the sink, which will be handy. Step 2 is to get my baby in my bathing area, and I'm going to strip baby down to just a diaper. I'm going to keep the diaper on for now. I'm going to go ahead and swaddle up my baby so that their arms are not flailing about, and get a nice secure swaddle here. All right. My baby is swaddled up and ready to go. The next step is that I'm going to lift baby up into football position. So I'm gonna cradle baby's head in my hand, and baby's back is gonna be resting on my forearm, tucked into my body here. And then I'm gonna position baby over the sink like this. So I have baby here in my non-dominant hand so that I can have my dominant hand free to move supplies around and wash baby easily. Before I get going, I'm gonna just pop my rinse water and my soapy water here in the sink so that it drains nice and easily while I wash baby's face, neck, and head. Now we're gonna go ahead and get started washing our baby, starting with baby's face. I wanna take my clean washcloth and find a nice, clean, dry spot on it, which is easy because we haven't used it yet. I'm going to dip into the rinse water, and I'm going to start with baby's eye area. I'm gonna start at the tear duct and swipe out around the eye like that to clean that area. No soap on baby's sensitive facial skin. I'm then going to find a different area of the washcloth that's nice and dry and clean and do the same thing on the other eye. Always switching the part of the washcloth there to prevent any eye infections. It's just good practice to get into. Now that I've washed baby's eye area, I can use any part of the washcloth, and I'm gonna wipe down the rest of baby's face. Just like that. So now that baby has a nice clean face, we're gonna move on to baby's neck. To do this, I'm gonna dip the washcloth right in the soapy water here, and I'm gonna bring the washcloth up. I'm not gonna squeeze it out until it's right over baby's neck. I'm gonna squeeze that underneath baby's neck to allow the water drip and get really in those folds. And then I'm gonna use the washcloth to come and give a nice scrub gently underneath here. You can tip baby's head back a little bit in order to be able to reach all of those little nooks and crannies that milk likes to collect in. Once I'm done with the soapy water, I'm gonna dip into my rinse water, come up and do the same thing. Just rinse it down like that. Now we're gonna move on to baby's head and wash baby's hair. So in order to do this, I'm gonna use my washcloth again as a tool. I'm gonna use my rinse water, my clear water here, and I'm gonna have my soap handy. So I'm gonna dip my washcloth in, make it nice and wet, squeeze over here, and use the washcloth to help me get baby's hair and head wet. Okay, then I'm gonna take a drop of my soap and put it right on baby's head. Sometimes I'll use my hands to rub it in and get it nice and lathery, and other times I will actually use the washcloth as that tool to give kind of a nice little baby head massage and scrub. Some babies really love this and will start kind of cooing a little bit when you do this. So I'm gonna get under their head, kind of maneuver my hand free so that I can get the back of baby's head too. And then I'm gonna go into the rinse water. And again, squeeze water onto baby's head to rinse off. Great. So I am now ready to continue on with bathing baby's body, and I'm gonna unswaddle baby, but keep them covered so that they stay nice and warm. And I'm only gonna take out one body part at a time, the part that I'm cleaning at that moment, before covering it back up and exposing the next. That will help keep baby nice and warm and toasty, and will make the experience a little bit more enjoyable for everyone. So we're gonna start with baby's arm. I'm gonna take one arm out, take my washcloth, dip in the warm, soapy water, and work my way gently to wash all around baby, including their hands. Sometimes they collect fun things in their hands. Then I'm gonna use the rinse water and just quickly rinse that baby down, just like that. Once I'm done with that part, I'm gonna cover back up and dry a little bit. You can use either the swaddle blanket or the towel that's underneath. And then I'm gonna switch hands and get this little hand free and do the same thing. Nice and clean. Tuck that back in so that again, baby's nice and warm. So next I'm gonna move on to the belly, and I'm gonna do the same thing. Soapy water first, scrub down, making sure to keep the umbilical area dry, so not putting water on that. And then I'm gonna go in my rinse water and wipe that down. There we go. Cover back up. I'm now gonna actually move on to baby's legs, because those are kind of easier to access. One at a time. Soapy water first. Get those toesies, just like that. And you can talk to baby as you're doing this. Okay, one hand, one foot done, and now the other. Okay. So you'll notice that baby still has their diaper on, and that is intentional. We want to keep that on until the last possible moment, until we're ready to wash that area. So to do baby's back, I'm gonna now lift baby up. I'm gonna come underneath baby's head, sit baby up so that they're sitting right here. Their chest is in my hand, kind of like this. And I'm gonna do soapy water on the back, rinse water on their back, great. And then I'm going to lay my baby right back down. Now I am ready for the diaper area. So I'm gonna uncover baby here, keeping them cozy up top. Take the diaper off, but leave it underneath unless it's a poopy diaper. It's gonna soak up some of the moisture there. So I'm gonna lift baby's legs up like this and start from the front to the back of the diaper area, using soapy water first, squeezing some out on the diaper area, wiping down, rinse, and moving back to the bum area as the last thing that you're gonna put the washcloth on. Then you're gonna move that diaper, which will be really wet and soggy, which is totally fine. I'm gonna move that out of the way and wrap my baby up nice and completely. You can keep the swaddle blanket around to dry off if that's helpful. If not, you can pull it out from underneath baby really gently, like so. So now that you've got a nice clean baby that is freshly diapered, you can either go ahead and get them dressed in the outfit that you have for them, or you can take this time post-bath to do a little bit of skin to skin, which can be really nice as a way to bond with your baby. Do be sure to take in some nice deep breaths to soak in that sweet, fresh baby scent. Thank you so much for joining us today to walk through the sponge bath. Be patient with yourselves as you try this out with your new baby. It will take some getting used to. It is okay if baby is not super happy during the process. The key is to keep it as quick and calm as possible. Remember to keep that baby nice and warm, and do be sure to reach out to us if you have any questions at all.